My name is Lashonn Edmonds, and I am the patient inventor and founder of Cairs Shoes.
Don't stop.
So let me tell you a little bit about my business. I started my business out of a need. I actually suffer from a disease called lymphedema, which causes your lymphatic system to not flow properly. And if you know anything about lymphatics, you know it's a very important part of your makeup of your body. So with my situation, the part that I have is called lower extremities. So my lymphatic fluids do not push up properly, so they fall to the bottom of my legs and feet, which causes them to swell, which created an issue where I could not find shoes to fit me properly, especially in a more professional environment. So typically I have to wear like flip-flops or sneakers, or maybe shoes like 2 or 3 sizes bigger in order to accommodate for the swelling. So as I was doing some research on finding a web developing company, I attempted to do it myself. And one of the biggest challenges when I launched my business was the actual functionality of it, because I used a website company that I thought was pretty easy to, put templates together. I didn't think nothing really big about putting a website. I didn't realize the importance of it on being a new entrepreneur. So I built it myself, and everybody said it was pretty, but it wasn't functional. So because of not having the proper function, I lost sales. People like, I don't know how to order. I mean, it's confusing. So I went on a search using like Upworks, LinkedIn, different platforms to try to find some people to actually help me build my website. And I tried a couple of them, and they just did not meet the needs that I had. I wanted a certain look. I needed to, show my personality, tell my story the right way. And I just wasn't able to get that out of these companies. And then it seems more like it was more of a salesy approach. They didn't really take me into account of the needs that I have for the people who suffer from situations like myself, and then just wanted to let me have my authenticity in it. They wanted to kind of put their own spin on it and make it look like what they wanted, and really didn't listen to what my needs were. And so those were some of my major challenges. The way I learned about EasyBoyWeb was, I'm gonna tell you, it was just an amazing thing for me to find someone, locally in my community, in my entrepreneurial community. I was at an event that I was receiving an award and doing some networking, and met one of the co-founders, Landon, and he shared that he builds websites, and this was a pickle that I was in right now. I was really needing to, get more customers in, and I really needed someone to do a really good job. And lo and behold, I hired them. And it was a great experience. We had a meeting call where I laid out my vision and what I was looking for, my color scheme, my story. And he did a phenomenal job with his team, listening to me and getting all my feedback. And then I found out the other co-founder was Dustin, which Dustin, I know him since he was a little baby. So it was such a great experience, because now I actually had someone that really, really understood, my needs for my customers. And when I tell you, they did an absolute phenomenal job. It's an understatement. When you take a look at the website, it brings you into a whole experience where you see the inclusivity of the type of customers that I have through a video. And then from that video, it takes you down the path of what my product actually looks like. So all the intentionality that I had when I designed these shoes and invented these shoes, you see that up front. And that's what was missing from my previous site. I didn't know how to pull those pieces together. And Dustin and Landon, they caught it. They immediately knew exactly what I was trying to do and the story I was trying to tell. And as you'll see on my site, they really just did a phenomenal job. And I know that my customers are going to absolutely love it. The onboarding process was great. So we had we did like a virtual meeting because, they do a lot of traveling. They're very busy. So they took time out to make sure that they gave me exactly what I need, which was time. We met about an hour where we scoped out my website project. And in that, I was able to provide them with the whole vision of what I wanted and my color schemes, a lot of the details of my website that I wanted to make sure. So for example, it was important for me that my customers saw before and afters. So they have this great technology that they built into my site. I was like, this is so cool, where you can literally slide and see like what it looks like to have my shoes, not to have my shoes on, and then what it looks like to have my shoes on. So it helps with that overall customer experience, so they can really see how this invention will impact them when they put them on. So just those little bit of details like that really meant a lot, even down to the shipping and my terms and agreement. They already had things already laid out with their process that I didn't have to really think about a whole lot. It was really a plug and play, because they're experts in this field, and they really made me feel more confident about handing the reins over because I've held them so tight. Being a startup, you kind of do that. So releasing my baby to someone to really do a great job is an understatement. Oh man, these some tech guys. When I say these are some tech guys, they really use their technology to help ensure that I stayed in constant communication with them. And what that communication process looked like for me is that they sent updates to me. They requested information. I had places where I was able to easily store what we would call assets, like my pictures, my videos, product descriptions, my buying list. They gave me a space that I was able to do that very seamlessly, without a lot of phone calls and texts. They're like, hey, we're this part of the project and we need X, Y, and Z. Here's a link for you to be able to upload your information. So I was able to do that without having to stop, running my business throughout the day. And it just made it very, very easy for me. As a small business, you wear a lot of hats. And, having to stop and do a lot of stuff takes a lot of time. But because of the technology that they use and their process that they already had in place, it made life much easier for me. So one of the other things that I really need help with, that I received feedback when customers would see my logo, they was like, is that called Cairs? They really didn't get the concept of why I had my elephant that actually has a trunk that was shaped like a C. So people couldn't really get that. And so one of the asks that I had of them, like, could you redesign my logo too? And they was like, of course, we do it all. So I was so pleased with how they kept my original look and feel, because my son actually designed my original logo. So it's very, close to me because it's a part of my family. And so when they took my logo and like redesigned it to really define the C, so it's very clear that it's the letter C for Cairs. It really stood out, and I've gotten a lot of compliments. People already love the logo because people love elephants, but I received a lot of compliments. So I'm like, oh yeah, Cairs, I see it now. It's very, very easy to see which Cairs. A lot of people always ask, what does that mean? And it actually represents my family. So it's my daughter, Charmaine, my other daughter, Alexia, my son, Isaiah, my husband, Randy, and Sean Me. So having that, my logo that represents my family, and then the elephant, which represents the fourth stage of the disease I have, which is called elephantitis, all of that was very important that I kept that. And they were able to accomplish allowing me to still have that same look and feel without losing the authenticity that I originally wanted. My new website brand and mission really has a great statement now versus before. And if you saw my previous one, you would just see me. I was like front and center. And for me, that really didn't display the purpose of what I was really trying to convey to my customers. But with my new one, you really see like the variety of women that this disease can actually impact, and also women that this disease doesn't impact at all. So you see that very clearly through the website as soon as you log into it. I mean, the video's like front and center. And then you really see the focus on the product. I had a lot of, potential customers. I say potential because, the way my old website was designed, they really didn't have a great way of going through the flow of ordering the shoes. But one of the biggest feedbacks they gave me was that. And the other feedback that they actually gave me was they could not see the shoes. So now you really can see with the branding that they did with the shoes. Not only did they put it front and center, but they called out the specs. So for example, the wide entry, the no tie laces, and the flexibility of the shoe. It is front and center. There's no way that people could not see the shoe very clearly, because that was another complaint. Oh, we can't see the shoe. Now you can really see the shoe. And so they did a great job with that, which is my whole mission, to have shoes for everybody. Nobody should be able to walk around and not have proper footwear. So what is the next phase for Cairs? So great thing that you asked that, because I had them to design the website for future state. So what they did on the website that was not on the old one is that I'm now offering additional products. So we started off with the lymphedema shoe, and now we have moved into the space of diabetic shoes, and the next would be lymphedema products, which is why I didn't name the company Cairs Shoes. I named it Cairs because I knew that I was going to offer additional products in the future. So now the website has been optimized to be able to handle that. And, with the various ways of how they designed it, it's going to be much easier for me to be able to manage and scale my business.